Right at the top, well, a shocking Lashkar-e-Taiba plot to hone its terror strategy for India has been exposed. Interrogation of a Lashkar-e-Taiba militant who was arrested in Kashmir suggests that the LET is making new recruits learn from the so-called mistakes by 26/11 attacker Ajmal Kasab. Sources claim the revelations made during the interrogation of an LET militant Mohammad Naveed Jatt alias Habu Hanzala, a resident of Multan in Pakistan, has in fact given out details of the manner in which the Lashkar-e-Taiba is treating and training its new recruits. Hanzala was arrested by Jammu and Kashmir police in the third week of last month in South Kashmir. Hanzala has admitted that the Kasab lessons are now part of LET's training module. Hanzala himself was shown a video presentation which lists out how to avoid the mistakes committed by Kasab during the deadly Mumbai attacks. LET recruits are taught how Kasab and his team failed to destroy the boat that carried them to Mumbai. LET recruits are also being imparted lessons on how to avoid Ajmal Kasab's blunder of speaking on satellite phones using his own identity. LET bosses also quoted Kasab's inability to take hostages and getting arrested. Well, Shuja ul Haq is now joining us live from Srinagar with the very latest. Lashkar-e-Taiba making recruits learn lessons from Ajmal Kasab's so-called mistakes. Shuja, all this has been revealed by one of the terrorists who was recently arrested and was himself involved in many attacks in Kashmir.
Well, that's right, Ruchika. If reports are to be believed, this militant who was arrested last month from South Kashmir area by the security forces and is being interrogated as we speak, has revealed that that he had actually met Kasab back then when there was training going on in which Kasab was himself present. He has also reportedly said that now when the new recruits are trained, they are shown they're shown video clips which contain the mistakes that Kasab and others have done so far while carrying out their operations, and their trainers urge them not to repeat those mistakes. As you were pointing out, mistakes like taking hostages, not getting arrested, not speaking on the satellite phones, using their own names, are something that he has quoted to the interrogators, according to the reports. Well, what is very shocking in this entire report is that the training is going on as far as recruitment is concerned from by the Lashkar-e-Taiba outfit, and this time around they are becoming all the more definitive, which is clear from the way the training is happening. According to the interrogation report, which is being quoted by a lot of media agencies otherwise as well, it has been said that video clips, full-fledged video presentations are made, which are displayed in front of the new recruits to give them more and more insight about how to carry definite attacks without being caught and with less chances of being apprehended by security forces. A major cause of concern there for the Indian security agencies, at the larger end.
Well, very interesting details that you're sharing with us, Shuja. In fact, we're showing pictures of the Lashkar-e-Taiba recruit who has now spilled the beans, giving out details of how LET terrorists are being trained right now, the special module that has been built, keeping in mind the mistakes, the apparent mistakes that were made by Kasab during the 26/11 attack. And it's rather interesting, Shuja, considering questions have been raised time and again about the chink in India's armor as far as our security apparatus is concerned, whether we have learned any lessons after 26/11. But here we see the Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is making these high-tech presentation to its cadre, to its recruits, explaining to them how to really go about with these attacks.
That's right, and it's very evident and clear by what has come out in the open in recent past, be it the kind of technology that militant groups are using, and also the tactics that they are using to sort of counter the anti-infiltration grid that has been put on borders or on the line of control. And now the kind of information that we are getting, that the organization like Lashkar is making their recruits know in and out of what has so far been done and what they consider as mistakes by their from their previous associates in their operations, like the one that happened in Mumbai. So clearly this is something that is, as I was pointing out earlier, is a major cause of concern to the anti-insurgency operations, not only in Jammu and Kashmir but also in the rest of the country as well. We're not talking about operations that are only conducted in Kashmir Valley. This one, where Mumbai attack is also coming to the figure. This particular militant has told the investigators that in the video presentations, the recruits are apparently also shown how how the mistakes like traveling in the boat and then leaving it just like that is something that they should not repeat. So clearly this would be a major cause of concern for Indian security agencies, and as we know from our sources, they are taking this very seriously, and more investigations are being carried out in not only in this case but in the other cases as well.
Stay on with me, Shuja. We also have the studios with us right now. I mean, today's Rizal Lashkar. Rizal, just take us through the details of what's coming out of these interrogation, the questioning of this LET recruit who's given out details of how the Lashkar-e-Taiba is making these high-tech presentations. In fact, a video too was shown to the recruits of this module in a camp where they were told about mistakes that were made by Ajmal Kasab.
I mean, whatever has come out shouldn't really be very surprising for us, because the Lashkar-e-Taiba has clearly shown that it is very capable of using the latest technology. If you look at even the stuff that has come out on Kasab's training, I mean, the house that was found in Karachi, people found all kinds of maps, and there were all kinds of the gadgets they used during the attacks. This is a group that has taken very well to technology. The fact that they have made a video where they're showing the mistakes, I mean, after all, Kasab was possibly the biggest mistake that ever happened to the LET. This is the first time someone got caught in the act. So it's not really surprising that they are adapting and trying to make the new recruits learn from the mistakes of Kasab. And this fact that this video is there, I mean, now if you look at it, LET/Jamaat al-Dawa, they have a very strong presence on social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook. So I mean, it's just another instance of this group adapting and using technology like a lot of other terrorist groups are doing across the world.
Right, and of course the focus again, it appears from this interrogation and what has come out, the details that are filtering, that the focus firmly remains on India. These 10 terrorists who came from Pakistan during 26/11 attack, they were all very motivated, as the videos and the clips that later came out in fact showed that how they went on with that savagery for almost 3 days. And here again in this interrogation and the details that have come out again shows the manner in which these people, these recruits are being trained, very motivated, and the manner in which they are being told how these attacks will be carried out.
Yeah, and I mean, more significant, of course, is the fact that this chap was trained in a place called in Multan, if I'm not mistaken, in a camp in Multan, which again brings in focus the fact that the LET is very, very active in the Punjab province, which is Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's home province. I mean, virtually nothing has been done to shut down the camps that are being operated by the LET/JUD in places like Multan, in places like Renala Khurd and Okara, from where Kasab came. So I mean, the recruitment, the training is continuing, and this is again a worrying situation, because the prime focus of the LET now is again India and Kashmir. Of course, more than Kashmir, now they want to also target other Indian cities. So it's going to be a very, very worrisome development for security planners.
Well, Headlines Today had earlier reported from Murid K on the existence of these terror camps, and once again this LET recruit who has been nabbed and who has made these revelations, it just goes to show that no matter how many dossiers have been exchanged between the two countries, the tough talk from the Prime Ministers of Pakistan, these terror camps continue to thrive with a single-minded focus on trying to bleed India. Rizal?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're talking about bleeding India, I mean, Hafiz Saeed and several other LET leaders have very, very clearly said that India is going to be an area of focus as the foreign forces pull out of Afghanistan. I mean, that's what a lot of other groups are also saying, that once the Americans pull out of Afghanistan, the focus is going to be back on India. Maybe primarily they could start from Kashmir, but there are indications that they will work on, even attacking other cities. So it's something that, we have to be worried about. I mean, the fact that Hafiz Saeed was spotted very close to the border with Rajasthan a few weeks ago, and distributing relief goods in an area which has a large Hindu population. And I mean, let's face it, I mean, the JUD was never banned by the Pakistani authorities. It was put on something which is called a watch list. Although the Americans have banned it, the UN has banned it, the Pakistanis themselves haven't banned it. So, I mean, the group is thriving, it is recruiting, it is collecting funds, and it continues to be a problem for India.
That's right, and I would in fact want to build on what you mentioned just now, these revelations that are very crucial, and it also comes in the back of reports that came in just a couple of days ago of terror mastermind Hafiz Saeed's movement in border areas close to Rajasthan and Gujarat. Well, remember, for the first time there was evidence. We had got you pictures of Hafiz Saeed in some of those camps near Rajasthan and Gujarat border, visuals of him addressing hundreds of men, trying to get them on the path of terror. He was spotted in various areas including Islamabad, Mirpur Khas and Kanpur in Sindh. According to information from security agencies, Hafiz Saeed is keen to expand his sphere of influence in these areas as well, and terror camps are being set up here. Hafiz Saeed, whose front organization Jamaat-ud-Dawa was recently declared a terror organization, is clearly bypassing the strictures by further fronting his activities in areas under garb of medical or charity services.
Sources in the Intelligence Bureau tell headlines today that an alert has been declared all along the Rajasthan, Punjab and Gujarat border after Hafiz Saeed was spotted in Sindh. What sources tell us is he's on a recruitment drive where ostensibly this is a medical camp, a relief camp that has been organized. But according to sources, he's trying to recruit Pakistani Hindus and trying to launch them across the international border for terror strikes in Rajasthan, for terror strikes in Gujarat. But the second terror alert is in Jammu and Kashmir, all along the 770-kilometer long line of control and 200-kilometer long international border in Jammu. This is because of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Katra, to Uri and to Srinagar, the 15 Corps headquarters. Traditionally, every time an Indian Prime Minister has visited the state of Jammu and Kashmir, terrorists have tried to make their presence felt, whether it was during former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's visit or during the visit of former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's visit. So even this time there is a high alert, and this has been compounded by the fact that Hafiz Mohammad Saeed has been trying to strike across this country.
He is being found in villages in Sindh in Pakistan, particularly Kanpur, Mirpur, Mithi, Islamabad, and they're right across the international border from places like Jaisalmer, Barmer and Gandhidham. And in fact, if you look at the distances between, say, Islamabad in Pakistan to the international border, you're talking of a distance of about 90-odd kilometers by measuring that. And look at the kind of terrain we're looking at in this area. It's mostly open desert. So if you're talking about infiltration attempts.
Well, Rizal Lashkar is still with us here in the studio. And Rizal, just what you mentioned a little while earlier, presence of Hafiz Saeed in the areas bordering Rajasthan and Gujarat. Clearly, it goes to show that US may have declared Jamaat-ud-Dawa as a terror organization, but Hafiz Saeed continues to roam free in Pakistan. And even if there is a fund crunch, there is a fund squeeze on his organization, it may still continue to operate in Pakistan with a change of name perhaps, because it enjoys the state patronage in a sense.
Well, you know, I mean, the question of a fund crunch is, I think, very unlikely, because Hafiz Saeed has no dearth of funds. I mean, his group is recruiting, it's collecting funds in all the cities. They set up camps regularly in places like Lahore and Islamabad to collect funds. And I mean, you know, I mean, there was this funny situation last year, and I think also possibly this year, where the Punjab government actually allocated funds for the main center of the JUD in Muridke, and some people have said that this would have allowed the JUD to shift its other funds to more jihadi activities. So you know, it is a worrying situation. So this man is somebody who is obviously not affected by all the bans that have been imposed by world powers, by the US, by the UN. I mean, when the US declared a bounty on him, the next thing he did was he held a press conference at a hotel just opposite the Pakistan Army headquarters in Rawalpindi. So, I mean, this is obviously a man who's not worried by these bans, and he's bent on continuing his activities.
And now, of course, they're recruiting the new boys there, training them more about Ajmal Kasab's mistakes in the modules, the lessons that these new recruits are learning are through these high power presentations that have been made by Lashkar-e-Taiba. We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much, Rizal, for joining us.